Webheads, comic book fans, welcome to another episode of After the Pull. Fans, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. This is Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, this is the video series where I take some of my most highly anticipated comic books and I see if they live up to the hype. So today, guys, I am talking about 5 comic books. We're going to kick it off with number 5. And this week's number 5 goes to The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 5. This one's done by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. This storyline definitely focuses around Tombstone, and this is an opening arc where we gotta lead into issue 900, then I think the real story is going to begin. So this kind of gets you a feel of how John Romita Jr.'s artwork is, how Zeb Wells might write the story, and here we go. So here's the continuation of the book. Now, obviously, you get to see John Romita Jr.'s artwork in this book. And let's just say I was not happy with this week's issue because it did feature Black Cat in here. And she looks very skinny. Her bone line and structures and everything just don't look right at all. I was just like, wow, this is not good. So I was very disappointed by this week's artwork when it came to the character. Like, look at that face. What is happening there, man? But anyway, there's one other thing I had to point out. Look at what's going on here. Obviously, if you read the last issue, Peter Parker got a beatdown by Tombstone, and he is literally all black and blue. We get to see that in this issue, but it just looks like he is just deformed in the craziest way. It just doesn't make sense. But Felicia is there to kind of give Peter a pep talk in a smart way to actually defeat Tombstone, kind of beat him at his own type of game. And what this book did was, again, it showed the wittiness of Peter Parker Spider-Man, and he kind of just basically blackmails Tombstone, and that was really the book. There was no really big ending or climactic conclusion to this story arc, but it was just a way to get you, I guess, a feel of how Zeb Wells wrote the character. So I think we'll be in some better times for Spider-Man, and looking forward to issue 900, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Moving on to number 4. And number 4 goes to Flashpoint Beyond. This is issue 3 of 6. Now, I really enjoyed this issue because it had to deal with Flashpoint Superman. And I loved kind of seeing the history behind that character. And even though it's very similar to the Superman that you've always gotten before, it is a little bit different, right? So here we get the introduction of the character when he's leaving Krypton, and all his I don't know if it's other spaceships that went off, but he is not the only one that left Krypton, and it happened 30 years ago. And we got to see that a big disaster happened in Metropolis. Flashpoint Superman winds up escaping. And we get a big history lesson of the character. In the meantime, you don't get too much of other things that are going on in this book. We get a little bit more of Harvey Dent's son, who is being mentored by the Penguin on how to shoot firearms and create bombs and all kinds of stuff. And I like that. I think he's going to be a major player going forward when it comes to this book. I don't know, something weird. But Reverse Flash is running for his life, and he looks like he's trying to escape the killer in this book. But what I liked was the character growth of this version of Superman. I think it was really well done. We get to see that he is asking for Thomas Wayne help in order to stop an invasion that's going to happen from the other Kryptonians, because his memories weren't inserted into his mind the way that it should. We get a little backstory of Mrs. Harvey Dent, how she is going to be the new Two-Face. You kind of get a foreshadowing of that in the future. But again, this focused around, obviously, Flashpoint Superman, and we get to see this version of a Fortress of Solitude, how he teams up with Poison Ivy, how the crystals work, how we get to see Jor-El in a plant form instead of like an ice form. Something different, man. I really dug it. I really enjoyed this issue. This definitely surprised me, and I really enjoy where Flashpoint Beyond is going. The only thing that bored me about this issue was like the very last page, how you got the time travelers. There's a huge cliffhanger at the end of this book that had to deal with Reverse Flash. This is a must read, guys. There's 3 more issues of this, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Coming in at number 3, we have The Closet. This one is written by James Tynion. This is the only independent book that I will be talking about today. And the first issue was really good, as we got to deal with this kid who is freaking out because he sees this weird creature in his closet, and who as a kid never experienced that, right? We all experience monsters under the bed, under the closet. So this is very relatable type of storytelling. And so I enjoyed the very first issue, as you got to see the little boy as he experienced the creature coming out of the closet. The main character by the name of Thomas and his wife are moving to Portland to kind of get a fresh start. Their marriage is not really, I guess, on the rocks, but they're actually recovering. I guess the husband might have cheated on her, and she was very forgiving. So they're kind of, again, getting that fresh start. So you get to see the little bit of a drive when it comes to the father and the son driving through the mountains. Thomas meets up with his brother, which is by the name of Mac. They have a conversation about, stuff, like everyday real stuff about the marriage, about the kid and everything else. And what happens is you get to see the boy kind of starting to settle into his new environment. He's getting ready to play with some Legos. He gets tired. He goes to bed. And as this son, all of a sudden, his name is Jamie, he's scared. He's like, I don't want to see a monster in my closet. And he's like, no, I'll go to bed with you in a few minutes and we'll lie down. And so, again, we get to see that conversation when it comes to the 2 main characters here. And once again, you get to see that real life conversation that these 2 have when it comes to the wife and the kid and whatnot. And while these 2 are having this conversation, we get this really freaky moment in this book. And we wind up getting to see the kid as he goes to bed and he's sleeping. What happens? He sees the door that appears on the ceiling. And then all of a sudden, the alien or creature or whatever it is that you want to call it starts popping out of the door. And the kid goes running and he's trying to get to his dad, and dad can't hear him. And then the next thing you wind up seeing is the alien drags him into the closet there, and you're just like, oh man, that is freaking dark right there. I felt so bad for the kid. Like, what the hell is going to happen to him? But so well done. Definitely recommend The Closet. This is something that you should be reading. Someone told me that this is actually only 3 issues. How can you only have 3 issues of this story? I feel like things are just getting started. Really fun book. I think it's not really action heavy. It was really more of a real life, everyday, relatable problems type of story. And you just got a couple of pages with the kid. But this book always leaves you on an awesome cliffhanger. So I can't wait to see how this develops. And where the hell does the kid go? So what is the number 2 book this week, guys? Well, it's going to... boom! It's Batman, issue 125. This book is absolutely awesome. Chip Zdarsky is out to a great start. This book has everything going for it. Everything you want in a comic book, this has it. It has great favorites when it comes to the character, like Batman, Selina Kyle. It's even got a little bit of the Joker. It's got Penguin. It's got Clayface. Oh my God, guys, this book is awesome. So when you open it up, right from the start, the artwork is beautiful. Jorge Jimenez does the artwork in this issue, or in future issues for that matter, and you get to see a little bit of everybody. Like I said, you get to see Alfred in the book, you get to see Joker in the book, you get to see Bruce Wayne in the book in his underwear, You get to see Selena Kyle in her underwear. I mean, it's hilarious, right? But it looks so good while reading it. And you get some of your favorite characters. You get Penguin, you get Clayface. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. And this book is set up with a couple of murders here from Penguin. His goal is to basically murder everybody that inherits over $5 million. He, for some reason, doesn't like people just getting money for no reason. He feels like you have to earn it, so it's going to go on his hit list and he's going to kill everybody. So what he's planning on doing is getting everybody together in this gala and murdering everybody all at once by some poisonous gas. You know, what is it with Batman books and poisonous gases? I don't know. It seems to happen quite often, but still, it was really cool plot. And what made this book better was not only do you have Batman in this book, but you get Tim Drake in this book. And he was a great character in this issue. It really showed his character. He basically sacrifices his life in this book, and it was really awesome. This book starts off, again, a little bit slow, but it's developing the plot. And then what happens in here is all hell breaks loose, because you get to see people practically getting killed. There's gases being released. Tim Drake's trying to save everybody. Clayface is getting blackmailed by Batman to try to help save the day as well. And then you get this big thing that happens in here. You get to see Tim Drake get shot. And right from the beginning, you're like, no way. There's no way they're going to kill off another Robin in this book right from the very first issue of Chip Zdarsky. But what this does is this creates suspense. And when you're reading a comic book, that's what you want. You want that suspense. And it was so good to see Batman race against time to try to save Tim Drake's life. And I thought that's what really made the comic book. And in this issue, you really thought that maybe, possibly, that Tim Drake was going to die. But that wasn't the case, making you believe that, again, Tim Drake was going to die, but really it was the Penguin. The Penguin is the one that is suffering from poisoning, and this is why he wants all these people to get killed. And he basically set up Batman to the point where he framed Batman for the Penguin's murder. It was very crafty. I loved how the whole thing was set up. This is definitely a must read, guys. It was so awesome to see this comic book and seeing a top tier writer like Chip Zdarsky take on this top tier hero. I wish that DC would do more books like this. Not even just Batman, just all of its heroes, and DC would be on top once again. It was so good. And then you get the revelation of this new character, this first appearance of Failsafe. What a great looking character. We'll see how Chip Zdarsky develops this new robotic-like character. Then you get a backup story. And the backup story has to do with Selena Kyle that gets hired to find the next of kin of the Penguin and who's going to inherit the Ice Lounge, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. It's a backup story worth reading, so don't pass up on the backup story, guys, as this is connected to the main plot. Really good storytelling here. I thought that this book was definitely worth your... How much was this one? $5.99. I mean, is it a little bit pricey? Yes, but it is more pages and definitely worth the read. So coming in at number 1, we have Dark Crisis issue 207. Holy cow, guys. Like, I really enjoyed Batman, but I enjoyed Dark Crisis so much more just because it had some great action and it had classic characters doing battle with each other. And you want to talk about suspense, intense action. This book had it all. And this makes you feel like this is something big, at least in this issue anyway. Will it go all the way through when we get to issue 7? That's still yet to be determined. But after reading issue 1 and then reading issue 2, I felt like things were building up to something big right from the start. Right? Based off of what happened in the last issue, you wound up getting to see Beast Boy getting shot in the head. And you're led to believe that he got killed. Now, when you read this comic book, technically he is not dead. I wish they would have killed him off just to be like, you know what? Something matters, so why not just kill him off? Whether he comes back later on or not, you know, is still yet to be determined, right? I wish they would have done that. That was the one thing that bothered me. Nightwing is really beat up in the beginning of this issue, but he overcomes that, and we get to see Deathstroke and his cronies here wind up going to battle against Nightwing and his players. But what happens is Deathstroke winds up prevailing, and it looks like that Deathstroke is going to take the victory, but Nightwing stands in the way, and he says, you know what? It's you and me. It's go time. Let's do this. And the artwork in this book is awesome. I love the facial expressions in this book. Like, look at Nightwing's, you know, battle pose here. He's getting ready to fight. I mean, he feels like he is, you know, a hero in this book. That's something that he's been lacking in Nightwing. Yes, he is a hero in Bloodhaven, you know, giving charity and things like that, but you haven't seen him fight like this. Like, this fight feels like it means something, and that's what I loved about this book. And I'll talk about another character in a minute here, but you wind up getting to see Deathstroke, Nightwing go toe-to-toe. Check out that freaking paneling right there, guys. That is so good. So well done. And they go fighting with each other, and you wind up seeing Nightwing wind up prevailing. He winds up winning round 1. And they looks like they were going to go into round 2, but what do you wind up seeing right when Nightwing was about to sacrifice himself so he would leave the others alone? Guess who pops in? You wind up seeing John Kent. You wind up seeing Superboy come in here, and look at him. He looks badass. He doesn't look like the way he looks in Tom Taylor's run. Like I said, you can make these characters change their status quos or make them the way that they want, but make them fight, make them be heroes. And here it felt like that John was a hero, and I loved how these two looked like they were going to fight side by side with each other. Nightwing wound up getting his Superman here. You're like, oh, there's no way that they're going to lose now, right? He gets his Superman. Deathstroke calls in his Superman, and I did not expect that. He winds up calling in Cyborg Superman, and I was like, oh, no way, that's freaking awesome. You're calling in Henshaw, and you wind up getting to see this battle happen. And when Cyborg Superman came, I was like, oh, this book is it. This is my favorite book. This was so much fun. I love this book. But at the end of the day, like I said, Deathstroke retreats because he is getting called to do something else to get the dark members. I don't know. That's when it gets a little bit crazy, you know, to get the dark whatever to go after them, to start the crisis or whatnot. And we finally get a new leader of the new Justice League, and that is officially going to be Black Adam. So well done, guys. This is definitely a book worth reading, but when that's not even it. There still goes more here, and this is a big spoiler, so if you don't want to get spoiled at the very end, you wind up getting to see Green Lantern, JoJo Mullins, and you wind up getting to see Kyle Rayner, okay? And he finally makes his return, and you see the rest of the Green Lantern Corps going to help the other good guys. Holy cow, guys, come on. I had a lot of people that wanted to ask me, Mike, should I put Dark Crisis on my pull? This event is a joke. Let me tell you guys, I think you should. At least based off of the first 2 issues that I read here, this is a must read. And even though Batman was very good, it's nice to see another book that is not Batman that was really well written and really well drawn, and it felt like something big. So definitely my favorite book of the week so far. Will anything top that? I don't know. I still have 13 books to read. So there you guys have it. Hopefully you had fun with this episode of After the Poll. Guys, I'll leave you more content to check out. Thank you so much for watching. As always, keep buying, keep collecting, but most importantly, always read your comics. Guys, I'll see you real soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Bye.